Who is Grant Mitchell? Grant Mitchell is an interesting character. He hasn't been on the show in over 9 years. Wow, 2016 was nearly 10 years ago. And he was last seen on the square because of his mother sadly passing in the show, which is Peggy Mitchell. Grant has not been seen ever since then. And why are we talking about Grant? Well, it's very simple. His brother is going through some January blues, shall we say. He's a bit Debbie Downer. He's not really enjoying life, is his old brother, Phil. Um, he's not enjoying life. He's kind of very down in his life. He has Nigel with him, but Big Nigel is sadly having dementia, and Phil just can't seem to enjoy life. And he's contemplating packing it in. Get YouTube. He's packing it in. Nothing else, YouTube. I promise.
All in a video game, of course.
All in a video game. It is fictional, I know, but still, he's packing it in. He wants to pack it in. He's selling his businesses, and basically, Grant is going to come in and just be like, "Phil, you slaphead, what are you doing? What are you doing, mate?" And
this video is here to just voice how we think Grant's going to return, what's going to prompt him to return, and probably how long he's going to stick around.
2 days.
A week.
1 hour. 5 minutes.
1 hour of filming, 4 scenes, done. Cheers for the 50k. See ya.
Yeah. So obviously,
obviously,
this is about theorizing. I'm gonna kind of kick off what I think Grant will be doing. Now, I just have to ramble for 5 more seconds, and then I can say it. So yeah, I think Phil is now I can say it. Phil's gonna try and kill himself, and that will prompt Grant to return. It's now the 2-minute mark. It's the 2-minute mark. I can say kill himself now.
We'll see.
We'll see when it gets demonetized. So yeah, Phil will try and end himself. And that will prompt Grant to come back, and Grant will just talk to him like, "Aye, Phil, bloody hell, will you bloody stop?
You've got so much to live for.
You've got so much to live for. What are you doing with your life?" And obviously, Ross Kemp was seen at the studios. We know he's coming back. It's been confirmed now by BBC. Yeah. Do I think he'll have much of an impact? No, because he's Ross Kemp. He's just gonna show. He's the Rock of EastEnders. Like, he's the Rock of fucking of nearly said the F word. He's the Rock of like BBC. Like, he's just showing up, one scene, 50k. That's it. Like, he's just that. He'll show up, do one scene, and leave.
Yeah. Like, if history suggests anything, he'll be back for a week. Let's be honest. But I mean, still setting the scene as such. As Piggy said, Phil has been struggling for a long period of time. He's been struggling. It was revealed like last month that it was in 2024 that to the tail end we saw scenes of him struggling, and we saw that it progressed over time. So we saw it in like February where he'd alienated himself from the Mitchells, and it all came to a head in like November, December 2024, where Phil was resigning himself from family get-togethers, and he was just fed up with life. Essentially, it wasn't what he wanted to do. He was tired of everything. Oh, Jesus, somebody even paused for a second. I was about to panic. He was fed up of life. And this, when Nigel Bates comes back into his life after, 25, 26, 27 years? Like, I think Nigel left, like, late 90s-ish. So came back into his life. Now suddenly he's got a friend. And he's got a friend that will always back you no matter what. And a friend who will... everybody else has like ulterior motives. If Jay's with Phil, is it because he's looking out for Lexi? With Sharon with Phil, is it because she's looking out for Albie? But now Phil has that one friend who will look after him no matter what, because neither of them really have someone else to care for. And he's brought in with all these scenes back and forth, like, oh, you doing all right, Phil? Yeah, I'm doing fine, me. I'm doing great. I'm having loads of sex. I'm doing great. I love life. And then Nigel's like, yeah, me too. I'm doing great too. Cars and women. Am I right, lads? And it's just kind of manifested in Phil only lets slight bits slip to Nigel of how he's struggling. Like, I think last week was when Phil essentially told Nigel, like, he wanted to sign the gym over to him, and he wanted to be like, hey, I want you to have this gym. I want you to take over. It's nice to have someone I can properly trust. I have really enjoyed having you here. Like a genuine breakthrough, because Phil's not talking about his feelings. And unfortunately, though, it was then revealed in the episodes that Nigel's suffering from dementia. So that's the reason he doesn't want to accept it, but accept it he will. And now we're going to see it all probably blow up a little bit ahead of the 40th anniversary. Do we think, and obviously that's where Grant will come in. Grant will come in, he'll tell Phil to be like, oh, you sort your life out, man. Like, there is a lot to live for. You're just being stubborn. You need to try harder. And, we'll give him that proper heart-to-heart, be like, oh, what would Peggy think of you now? That sort of stuff, all that rhetoric, the usual. Where maybe Grant's doing well, or maybe Grant's had a rough time, but they will come together. He will also likely see Sharon and Teddy and just look at Sharon like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You've got the Poundland equivalent right there. You've got Poundland Phil Mitchell. It's awful. And I have to guess maybe Grant will finally be the one to call Julie and be like, yo, Nigel's struggling. This is why. And then maybe she'll make a reappearance. Something like that. But now's when do we think he'll come in? Or do you have any more before we get into that?
I have none. Let's go into that.
Yeah, so when do you think Grant will appear? Will he appear at the 40th? Will he appear before the 40th, setting up a bunch of storylines to come to a head on the 40th? How do you reckon they'll do it?
Well, it was revealed in the BBC press that it was going to be sometime in the new year. And I don't mean to alarm people, but the new year is almost over. So I don't think he's coming back in the new year, but I'm saying that, and then he's going to pop up in like one of the episodes. You're going to see a bald head running on the set. It's going to be like Grant Mitchell or Ross Kemp just running on the set. So he'll pop up in the next few weeks. I will be excited to see him. Like, I really want him. I know he'll never do it, but I would like to see just Phil and Grant like aging together for one last time.
Yeah,
like just letting the world burn around them.
I just like, yeah, I do agree. I'd just enjoy one last run. Just do one last run with them together. And just have them, like, obviously Grant or Russ Kemp's kind of hard to lock down these days. He enjoys the old freelance bit of work, doesn't he? Enjoys the freelance work. Give me my money and leave me alone. And it's hard to time down for any extended period of time. I don't know if he'll be there for the 40th, but I would have to imagine if he's not, he will set up the big storylines for it, like Phil's like kind of on the mend as such, or Nigel getting in touch with Julie again after all this time. One of the two, like, because he doesn't really have many other people other than Sharon on the show that he would actually know or care about. I personally like the idea of if you bring in like some more Mitchells, like maybe Courtney sticks around, maybe just someone else to have the Mitchells bounce around. I know we just introduced new Mitchells, but there's still like a lack of Mitchell women on the show as a whole. But just some way where he's not going to be there for more than a week. Let's be honest. He's not going to be there for more than 4 episodes. It's Chris Glenshaw. It's Ross Kemp. I think he was there for a bit longer in 2016. I think he was.
I think about a month.
It was more like a month.
But that was a bit different.
Because, yeah, like that was him. That was them kind of sending off Barbara Windsor, which, like it would be like if you wanted, Lofty to come back for Dot's death, you'd be back. He'd do it all. Maybe not for free, but he'd do it all for like a reduced rate for sure.
I'm Mary the Punk.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there'll be any explosive secret with that Grant is keeping? I don't know.
No.
But that's because we don't really know what's going on with Grant. We just know he's still in Portugal. He's still there. I think last we knew he was setting up some business there. That Billy was setting up this pub, or Martin, I don't know, one of the two. But ultimately, it's kind of hard to tell. So that's all the theorising. That's when we think Grant Mitchell will return. When do you guys think he'll return? What do you reckon he'll do? Tell us in the comments section down below.